uh, now what we are going to do basically is that I added a letter in the group, but unfortunately, very few people have written that letter, and the problem was that they were unable to write the letter. So I can understand that it might be really overwhelming. Because writing is a little tricky part in OET. But don't worry, that is the reason we have started this series, and inshallah, we will discuss all the 50 letters of this particular PDF, which is given by the official OET. This is a really good chunk of letters which you guys can write, you guys can have a proper understanding about letter writing, and this PDF is more than enough for even passing your exam after. So let's just talk about little bit about this particular letter. Definitely, I'm not gonna go into the exclusive content that we provide in our paid course. And for that, definitely want and if you like the class after that, you guys can text me and we can schedule. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to the very basics. What I will give you guys an idea that how you guys can improve your writing. What are the resources that you can use, and how you actually guys can write a letter. And I'm going to write that letter for you. See, whenever we discuss the letter, there are some parts in the letter, right? On the day of your exam, they will give you the case notes. You will have 5 minutes to read the case notes. After that, you'll have 40 minutes to definitely write. Before the exam, you have to prepare yourself in a way that you'll be able to write that particular letter in 30 minutes or even before that. Because on the day of your exam, there's going to be exam pressure, which can cause some problems and issues for you guys. But if you have prepared enough, then believe me, you'll be able to understand the whole letter, the body, the structure, the type, everything within those 5 minutes that are going to be given by the OET officials to you guys for the reading of the case note. Okay, so you have to be smart enough to get to know the type of the letter the first. This is the most important thing. What people do is they actually are unable to understand the type of the letter, and they, although they write relevant information, they write everything which is required, but because the now the organization has changed, now the perspective of that letter changed, and that is causing issues for the people, and that is the reason of failure in the writing part. It's not that we are unable to write the letter. It's just because we don't know how to write and how to write the exact letter. Okay, this is the most important issue. Now, the picture that I've sent in the group, and I asked you guys to write the letter. Some of the letters I have, but unfortunately, I cannot show them to you guys because they are not very well written. They are quite poorly written. Into that, have the basic understanding of the letters. If you see the picture that I've sent in the group, okay, let me just open up that one so you guys can have actually talking about. Okay, so this was the picture that I sent. This is the first letter of that 50 letter PDF, okay, that I asked you guys that we're going to discuss. But you see in this picture, first of all, you'll see the name of the patient. It is the Miss Bethany Taylor, but that's not important. What's the most important thing? The task. What is the task here? Here, if you see that 5-year-old patient in the psychiatric ward where you are working as a doctor. Okay? Using the information given in the case note, write a discharge letter to the patient's primary care physician. Now, I am a doctor working in a psychiatric ward. Patient's name is Bethany Taylor. She presented to me with some symptoms. What are the symptoms? We are going to discuss that because they are written in the letter. And I have to now discharge the patient, and I have to discharge the patient to whom? To someone else's care. And that particular doctor is the patient's primary care physician. So GP, I'm going to refer the a general practitioner. Okay. What is the difference between update and discharge? If no problem. The difference is that whenever you are going to write discharge letter, this is going to be update letter. This is very important. So now this is very minor. This is not very the pattern is going to be the same. Okay, everything is going to be, but when the letter, the syntax change now. Okay, but if you don't know, you will write a letter on a discharge pattern, which might be right if they are considering it. That's fine if you are writing in a relevant way. But if not, then it has to be now. Okay, and if you have added the information which was not required according to the update letters pattern, you will fail. Okay, so this is important. This is little complex and tricky, as I've said. Okay, but definitely as we'll proceed, inshallah, I'll talk about everything and you guys will understand. Okay, now this is the case notes have been given. We have understood that this particular letter is of a discharge letter, not discharge, but an update. Now, what are the parts? See, first of all, we are going to write that simple thing, the name of the doctor, the department, and stuff. I'm not going to go into that detail. Just going to start the letter by the person. Okay. First of all, this is the purpose. Now, how to basically write if you don't even know the organization, how are we going to proceed? First thing first, you're going to write the purpose. After purpose, you guys are going to write the visits. Now, these visits can be either previous visits or today's visit. Okay, going to write any type of history. Then, definitely at the end, you're going to leave the end. This is what you have to write, and this is what you have to organize. Now, this is not a complete organization, definitely. This is the basic organization. Now, let's just dig into it. Okay, how you can write the videos. This is an update letter, right? So we are going to write previous visits first. At the end, we're going to write today's the start letter. What I mean by today's visit is the consultation that we are providing today, and the discharge plan. That's today's visit, right? History. After that, what type of history? Any history. It comes under the banner of social. Okay? Then the family. Okay, then medical, then meditation. What is this? This is history. We have to write that. Then at the end, we are going to conclude. So each of these things has its own marks, has its own way of writing, has its own structure, has its own style. Okay, and we even have to focus on the grammar as well when we're going to write all these parts. Okay, there is no need to be overwhelmed that I'm going into some details and just telling you. Definitely, it might look scary, but it is not. If you practice enough, if you focus, if you understand the basic guidelines, these things are going to be on your fingertips within no time. Now, we are done. Now, this is how we are going to organize this letter. So, if I am writing an exam, the paper is in my hand. They have given me 5 minutes to read the paper. By just taking the paper, I will definitely within 5 minutes. I have to be able to understand this thing that what type of letter it is. First thing, am I going to organize this letter? Okay. And what is going to be my purpose? Within 5 minutes, within no time, you have to get this thing done. Now, after this, now you are going to talk about the purpose. How would you write the purpose? See, I'm not going to go into the details. Definitely, as I've mentioned, we have a page course in which I will dig into everything. How to write purpose, what are the aspects of the purpose, what are the things that we have to include, we have to exclude, what is the marking criteria for the book. Everything is given there in the section in detail. Here, what I can tell you is how you can write the purpose. See, on if you see the letter, it is an update letter. First thing I'm going to write, I am writing to regarding this is for Miss Bethany Taylor. I'm writing to update you regarding Miss Bethany Taylor, who has 54. As I mentioned, I am a doctor who has treated a patient who presented to me with some problem. Now I am sending this patient back to GP and I'm updating the GP. It means the patient that definitely she's in psychiatric ward. So patient definitely was suffering from psychiatric illness. And what was that illness? She was suffering from schizophrenia. Why she presented to me? She presented to me because of the decompensation. So I have to clearly mention that over here that who has treated for decompensated schizophrenia. Okay, I have treated that patient, and I'm writing to update you that I have treated the patient for decompensation of the schizophrenia. Now, what I want from the reader, your the highly appreciated. Okay. Now, this is the purpose. If you write your purpose this way, then there is no need to be worried about anything. So purpose is very important. I don't think that we will have enough time to focus on the home letter because the class is already very lengthy. But whatever in this session, whatever the time I have, I'll try to explain everything in detail so that at least you guys can have some basic idea how to write it down. Now, this is how you're going to write the purpose. If you see, I have clearly mentioned about the decompensation. It should be clearly written that this was the reason. Okay, and now I want something from the reader. Okay, and I have asked for that. Now I will start my visit. As I mentioned, if you see the letter, if you see the picture that I've sent in the group, patient self-admitted herself on a date. Okay, when she was admitted, if you see, this is written over here. Okay. If you see, it is written over here, the date, admission date was 01/03/2018. Okay? And she self-admitted, right, for decompensated schizophrenia. I have mentioned that in the purpose. What was the reason of her presentation? She was non-compliant with the medication. She was having, auditory command hallucination. If you guys are unable to see, let me just make it a little more. I hope now it should be visible. So, as I mentioned, she presented to me on this day with the symptoms. What was the reason of the presentation? She was non-compliant with the medication. She admitted for auditory command hallucinations. She had visual hallucinations. She had delusions. Okay, and that was the reason of the presentation, right? Then, if you see now, this is a trick, and it's tricky. Why? See, if you see this particular date and this particular date, these two dates are of the same day, right? 01/03/2018 and 01/03/2018. This is how they bluff you guys, and you guys actually get trapped. Now, what most of the students do, they will create or write one visit like this. Okay? They will just complete their visit first, and then again they will start. On this date, patient was agitated. She was aggressive, responding to internal stimuli with heart blocking and latency. Now they are trapped here. And if you write this way, now they'll understand that you do not have the basic understanding of the letter I. And believe me, this do happens in the OET. And that is the reason, if you see the past year or the last few 6, 8 months, people are failing in their OET a lot. This was not happening 1 or 2 years back. People were passing their OT exams with excellent scores, but now things have changed. They are, because a lot of people are giving exams because of the difficult scenarios that are happening here in Pakistan or India or Bangladesh. People just want to leave their respective countries and want to practice elsewhere. Okay, and definitely OET is a compulsory part either for USMLE, either for the lab, etc., 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 even Ireland. Okay, so it is important to write particular letter in a particular way, but if you won't write it that way, the way they want you to write, then definitely they're not going to be mistakes, right? So this is how they are actually trapping you. So you have to be very careful. Trust me. This was the reason I know. Now, next, this is the first visit. It means the most the first visit when patient presented to me, not the visit of today, right? Then after this, if you see, they have given this date, 10/03/2018. What happened here? She presented to me with these symptoms. After 7 days or 9 days, sorry, after 9 days, I assessed the patient. And what I had found on my assessment on that day, patient sees responding auditory or visual hallucinations. She was less disorganized. There were no signs of thought blocking or latency, and she was able to minimize the bleeding. Okay, it means after 9 days, her symptoms improved. Okay, and on the same date, what was the management of the nursing? What was nursing management? They assessed the patient for objective signs of psychosis. We redirected the patient from delusions, then ensured the medical compliance. Okay, all of this information is important. Okay, and I have to, what I have to do this now, the second part comes in that I'm talking about, and that is the reason I'm saying I might not be able to complete the whole lecture. Why? After the process, you have to select the relevant information, and that is the most crucial part. I have shown you guys a lot of things. What do you think? Should I write each and everything the way it is written on the case note? If I would write each and everything the way it is written on the case note, then why they are taking my exam? Okay. Why they are providing me the case note if I have to just copy and paste it? No, I am not going to do that. I'm going to select the relevant information which is required for the particular letter, and I'm going to take that information and write that information in my own words with proper sentences, with proper tense and grammar on my paper sheet so that I can have three more GPT. Right. Okay. Now, after this, if you see, assessment is given over here that there was a good progress. Chronic mental illness can decompensate if not on medication or abusing substances again. Insight is good, judgment is fair. I have seen all of these things on this particular day on 10/03/2018, which is the today's date. This is the most recent visit. It means today I am standing beside the patient and I am talking to the patient. I'm getting the understanding that she is less disorganized. Her progress is good. Okay, her judgment is fair. Insight is good. She is not having any delusions, hallucination, either auditory or visual. Okay. And now I am going to write a discharge plan. And for discharge plan, what I'm going to write, I'm going to write discharge. My discharge plan, the medication includes risperidone 4 gram nightly by mouth, and risperidone 1 milligram will be available twice daily if needed. PRN means if needed for agitation or psychosis. Okay, and I have to back to apartment with follow up at Proudhurst Mental Health Clinic. There is no need to write this particular line in the discharge because I have a starting point. I hope I was able to, explain all the aspects that are required. I hope, is there any issue you feel here? You guys can ask me, and whatever the time is remaining, I can just try to write the next few visits so that we can have the proper idea. If you have any questions, you can just ask me right now. I am for hearing you guys. You guys can have now 30 seconds or 40 seconds or even a minute for the question. If you have, feel free if there is any problem, you guys can ask me. And definitely will try to politely say, any questions if you are not foreign American or anything, Dr. Shani. Now, whatever the time is, let's just try to I'll be able to do it. That's good. Otherwise, we will complete the letter. After this, now I'm going to write the letter. As I mentioned, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the previous visit. Yeah, okay. So we are going to write the previous visit first. How will I write this previous visit? As I mentioned, there are all particular things to be done on 01 03 2018. Miss or obviously Then, now there is no need to believe that she was having auditory command hallucination, which were telling her to harm herself. There were visual hallucinations, which were showing shadow figures with brining in faces. As I mentioned, you just have to give a brief idea. You need 350 plus score to pass, or even 350 to pass. There is no need to be, there is no need to be a native speaker, and it's completely fine. Now, after that, I will include the second part as well that I showed that they can produce. I'll say that she was agitated and she was agitated and aggressive was responding to internal stimuli, which caused reaction and recognition. Therefore, she was commenced on antipsychotic medications. Simple. Therefore, I really am antipsychotics, or you can simply write towards the next one. What's very low. Okay. This is how I'm going to write my previous phrase. Okay. Same goes for the next visit. I'll start it okay, with the date, or I will just write today. She has showed clinical recovery or satisfactory clinical recovery. She's able to minimize her delusions. She's able to focus. Her insight is fair. Judgment, insight is good. Judgment is fair. Okay, and so on. I will just keep going writing the next paragraph just like that. See, in our paid course, there are. It's not like if you believe me, if you write your letter this way, definitely you will be able to score 350. But there are more, things in this. Where to use for the particular comma, which sentence you have to use in which paragraph, okay, which tense you have to use in which paragraph. We we do talk about all these things in our regular session that is actually uh, going on. That the first class we had today, and every Monday we are starting a new session. So any of you, if you want to join, you guys are most welcome. Uh, and the class time is almost up. But whatever was important in, regarding this, I have already discussed. Okay, so briefly, whatever is remaining, I'll just be very quick to write that information over here. Then the next visit comes in. I will start with this writing today. Okay, there are some commas. I have not added those commas over here. It's just that, it doesn't mean that I don't know. It's just because I cannot, because there should be a difference in those who are paying and who are not. Okay, because this is going to be an unjust to those who are in the uh, particular course. So there should be some difference, right? Okay, so today, it's regular. It's okay. Okay. And your hallucination. Now, there is another better way of writing this sentence as well. Okay? And the next paragraph. Okay, so unfortunately, we are done with the time. So whatever the letter is remaining from here onward, whatever is remaining, inshallah, we will have another class tomorrow to complete this letter and we'll start the new one as well. Definitely tomorrow it will be a little quick. Why? Because today I have given you guys a little bit background of the exam and the scenario and stuff. That took about 10-15 minutes. So that is the reason you are unable to complete the letter. But inshallah, tomorrow, as we are going to start from the very start, the letter. So I will definitely send the letter, the second letter in the group. You guys can write it and send it to me. Uh, and I'll try to, inshallah, discuss that letter over here and I'll evaluate that letter to you guys and we'll send the letter back to you guys with the grade if you want. And if you want, you guys can join us live in our paid sessions. We start on every Monday, as I mentioned, and anyone willing to join us can text me right now or after the class. Okay, and inshallah, we'll talk about everything, and inshallah, I'll guide you through all the four subjects. Okay, we are not teaching only one subject; we teach all the four subjects. Okay, so thank you so much. This is it. And inshallah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Allah Hafiz.